Welcome everyone, I'm Sunil Nayak. Welcome to my channel Chessking. In this video, I'm going to discuss about how you can punish early queen attacks in your chess game. When your opponent brings out his queen early in the game and you start feeling nervous because you don't know how to react with it. So if it happens with you, then don't worry guys, I'm here to help you. So in this video, that's what I'm going to discuss about. So let's get started. But before starting this video, I want to tell something. If you are serious in chess and want to become a better chess player in future, then you can subscribe to my channel and like my videos. You can also share my videos with your friends and family members so that they can also watch and learn chess. Okay guys, so let's go and see. Now the first step is to aware of common opening traps. So in this pivot queen attack, white queen is casually looking to attack your pawn. Thereafter, if you want to casually attack this queen, like pushing the pawn, then this will be a blunder. Because now queen will capture your pawn and it's giving check as well as attacking your rook. Now your rook will be finished. Therefore, you have to save this pawn, and for that knight c6 could be a good move. Another common trap will be bishop to c4. And now if you are casually looking to attack this queen by putting the knight on f6, then this will be a checkmate. The queen will come to f7 and this will be a scholar's checkmate. And now the game is over within 2 moves. So in this common trap, this f7 square will be the useful for you. So stay alert and stay alive. Alright, so let's go to the next step. So in the next trap, I should tell you, you should develop your pieces quickly and attack the queen with a tempo. Since the queen is the most valuable piece, so you should develop your piece and attack the queen, so that the queen will be moved around the chessboard. Like this. And white try to put the bishop on the knight, and if it tries to capture the knight and then it will try to capture the pawn, then you should just bring out your knight to f6 and attack this queen. Let's say if queen is adamant about taking this pawn, then you can play g6 and again try to attack this queen by the pawn. Let's say if he goes back, then you can just simply remove your bishop and put on g7. Or else you can throw a double attack by playing knight to d4. Now from here, this knight is attacking the queen as well as the bishop. If white tries to save his knight, then you can just give a knight fork on c2 and the suit is gone. And if the queen comes here to d3, then you can just play c6, attack this bishop. Once the bishop goes away, then you can just play d5 and open up the center. Like this. Now look at the next trap. In the next trap, if your opponent is trying to intimidate you by playing his queen early in the game, like this, in that case don't panic, you just open up your pieces and do just a normal development. Let's say here white attacks on f7 by the queen as well as the bishop. Now you just attack the queen by putting g6 and the queen will go to f3. Again there will be another attack on f7 square, so you can just place your knight on f6. Now f6 knight covering this f7 square from the checkmate. And let's say your opponent is not playing his queen and just trying to develop his pieces, and where you can't play the tempo by knight to d4, so you can just develop your pieces like this: bishop to g7, then if he plays to d3, then you can simply just do the castling and continue your development. For example, if bishop comes to g5, then you can just simply push the pawn to s6 and again attack the bishop. Once everything looks good, then open up your game like this and take the massive advantage. Just stick to your basics, activate your all the pieces and then launch your attack. In the next step, I will tell you to evaluate all the possible threats from your opponent queen. In this particular trap, white bishop as well as queen is attacking the f7 square. So in this particular position, you can just play to g6 and attack this queen, and also this move will help you to protect this f7 square. Now if queen goes to f3 and again it attacks on your f7 square, then you can just simply play knight to f6 and block this attack. But if in case your opponent is continue to try to attack like this by playing queen to b3, and now the bishop and as well as queen is attacking on the f7 square again, so in this case your natural reply would be to defense by playing queen to e7. But instead of playing queen to e7, you can just simply put your knight on d4, then from here you can just attack the queen again. Now if your opponent is greedy and he's thinking that he can grab this pawn, then it's a blunder. Now if he captures, then just remove your king to e7, and now look at this. The opponent's bishop is under attack as well as the queen is also under attack by the knight. If opponent is trying to come and save the bishop by playing to c4, then again you can just attack by pushing this pawn to b5. Now your opponent cannot save this bishop at that moment. So if your opponent is coming here and try to give check, then you can just simply capture the bishop and now you are just piece up. That is why you should always evaluate the possible threats from your opponent queen. My next piece of advice to you that is the extension of the previous one. If your opponent is trying to attack your camp, then you can just counter attack on your opponent. Let's say your opponent played queen to h5 and you played g6 and you attacked the queen, and your opponent is going to f3. Again your opponent is trying to attack on this f7 square and you played this move. Then he plays g4, and by playing g4 your opponent is trying to remove this knight and again reignite the pressure on this f7 square. Now in this case, without defending this g5 pawn by playing just s6, you can just counter attack by playing knight to d4. In this case, if your opponent queen is going back, you can just break through from the center. Now if your opponent is capturing this pawn, you can just develop your bishop and again you can attack this queen. Now for example, if your opponent is pushing this pawn and attack to your bishop again, then you can just play knight to e4. Now your opponent will get confused which piece to take now. Let's say if your opponent is greedy and take this pawn, then ultimately it's a blunder. You can give check on queen h4 and ultimately it will be a checkmate. Going back, if your opponent is trying to block this check by knight instead of f3 pawn, that is also a disaster. Now you can deliver the checkmate within 2 moves by playing knight to f3 and king will come to f1. Then you can just give your bishop to s3 and it's a checkmate, guys. My next advice will be to you, just don't be afraid of sacrificing any pawn to gain activities. This time we will try with Scandinavian opening. So in this Scandinavian opening, black is trying to gambit this. So you can just capture this pawn and queen will capture this pawn. So in that reply you can just develop your knight to c3. Now you are attacking this queen. For example, if queen comes to e6 and gives you a check, then you can just develop your bishop. Now if queen tries to come to b3, then you can just develop your knight to f3 and let him take this pawn. If your opponent is greedy and take this pawn, then you can just play rook to g1 and again you can attack on the queen. Now queen has gone to s3, then you can play rook to g3 and now the queen will have to go to d7. And now see, in this case we have already developed so many development and black is 0 development in this case. Okay, so these are the very useful tips to how you can punish early queen attacks in the game. And now these are the simple basic tips you can follow also in your game, and you can also punish the opponent's queen. Okay, so till now if you like the video, then you can hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Okay guys, so this is it for this video and see you in my next video. Bye.